Hi, everybody. Happy Monday night. I cannot believe we are already on the 31st of March, and I'm so glad that you are all joining me this evening. Hi, David. Thank you for dropping a stethoscope. I so appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Blue Skies has come on in. Hello. Hi. We've got Ocean View. Very nice. Happy Monday to you. Textman 2 has come on in. We've got Dr. Falcon, we got Stacy, we got What Do You Mean? And I'm sure we're going to be having many more people dropping in and joining us this evening. And so I am so grateful to see you all. And I'm sorry I have been MIA for a little bit. I have been very busy. And some things are actually things involving the channel. So just to always remind people about the memberships. I'm sorry I haven't made any members only content. I meant to vlog something this weekend and I just got extremely busy. I finally took one of my certifications today that I needed to have completed by today for work purposes. So I went ahead and did that. But if you do want to join the Life and Vibe community and be part of the good life, it's just $2.99 a month. And it actually supports me in my work, along with the donations and contributions that are made by this community for me to actually, in reality, tackle people who seem to feel somewhat entitled on the YouTube platform, people who are bullying other content creators on this platform. And these creators often are creators that we are making reaction videos to because they have problematic content, and therefore because they do have content that I have in my professional experience have seemed could be potentially harmful to people. And obviously I always like to preface I am obviously a registered nurse here in the United States. I do have well over a decade of experience in the field of advanced cardiac nursing. I also have worked in cardiac rehabilitation. I have worked in oncology. I have worked in hospice case management. I have worked in gerontology. I have worked in progressive care on other types of units. I know people don't want to hear this, but it means that I have experience and knowledge, and therefore can have the ability to interpret people's conversations around medical things and things where I feel that are not truthful. And I think it's very important to understand that there are many people that use the social media platforms and not in very honest ways in order to gain money, to gain and really money at the end of the day. And even though I obviously get monetization, like I said, my money goes to paying attorneys to make sure that these people get put in their place. And tonight, at the very end of this video, thank you so much for those stethoscopes. I will let you know a little bit more about what's been going on with that. So if those of you who are not familiar with my channel, maybe you've just found me. I am training to also be a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, which is one of the reasons why I talk around personality disorders, specifically narcissistic personality disorders, because they tend to be the most prevalent on social media and tend to be the most problematic and the most sort of the ones that are easiest at lying. They are the easiest to seem to use these platforms. They are happy to gain obviously adulation, money, whatever it can. And I know people think I get that too. Obviously, look at me. I obviously am not too concerned. But yes, so at the end of this video, I am going to, or this live, I should say, I will be giving an update as to where we are with the counter notification from the attorneys. And it's good news on this side of the team. So that's all I'm going to say at this time. So if you haven't had a chance to hit the likes, please do hit the likes as you come in. That gives me opportunity to be seen more on the YouTube algorithm. If you are watching and not having subscribing will be able to help you participate in the chat. And as I said, membership $2.99 a month. You get to support my work trying to ensure that people are not being exploited by liars and narcissists on the internet. Hey, Catherine, good to see you. It's nice to see you. You're at a meeting. That's okay. You do what you do. I appreciate you being here. Textman 2 says, I have never understood why people lose so much. Not all people, but a lot of people. Why they lose so much? Sorry, lie. Well, in Tim's case, it's kind of the thing is with a narcissist, and this is one of the things they make up their sense of their self and their ego from this confabulation that they create. And so it kind of helps create this ego that doesn't really exist, because in reality, they feel worthless. And so there's a very interesting study and paper written by a gentleman who's a psychologist and also a self-identified narcissist who talks about narcissistic confabulation. And I have actually linked the description to that article, I have linked that article down below. And at some point this evening, we are going to hopefully take a look at that in regards to some of Tim's behaviors. So it's part of why they lie. It's not like you and I, like a white lie, maybe to protect somebody's feelings. Maybe, a lot of times most of us have caught in a position where you've maybe told an untruth. Probably after a while, if you feel that there's benefit, most people will, probably fess up to lying. Most people don't feel comfortable lying. Most people do not feel comfortable. Gail says, just got home. Nice surprise to see you live. Yes, I finally could get live. Not a meeting yet. Just on my, you're on your lunch. Well, I'm glad you're able to join us and moderate a little bit. If they lie enough times, they start thinking it's the truth. It's kind of like that. It's a little bit deeper than that. And it stems from a lot earlier in their lives and a lot about disassociation. And a lot about ego. It was a very fascinating article. And we can look at like kind of the basic abstract behind that. Hey, Barbie, come on in. Happy to see everyone doing a live. Yes. Oh, I've been working very diligently, as I will reveal at the end of this live. I've been a very busy bee between work and doing some certifications and dealing with other aspects of trying to be really an honest type of YouTuber out here. Mike says narcissists feel vulnerable when they face truth, criticism, and fear of being exposed. Narcissists live in a world of fantasy where they believe they are superior and better than everyone. Pretty much, especially grandiose narcissists like Tim. And his content got very dry this afternoon. And this is where it's going to get interesting with Tim. Because Tim was going to see how much of the truth that he really likes to tell about really what happens in his life with his channel. Because I think a lot of what Tim tells his audience is not specifically true. And so with that said, we'll get into it. There's Nightbot, if you want to join the team. Bertie is in the house. Hey, come on in. Passive 101. Oh, he absolutely owns the best of everything. And he sells shoes on Facebook Marketplace, and then he turns around and then buys a new pair of shoes. It's the wildest thing. The Buy Me a Coffee is actually going to the attorneys at this point, and it's a whole firm. Narcissists are expert on everything. Don't believe it until they prepare to get gaslit. Well, they're not an expert on what they just probably some other stuff. Hey, David, come on in. Mr. M is in the house. Back on the sauce. He's going to be back on the sauce now. Power Hills Forever, come on in. Like I said, always be kind and respectful in the chat. We appreciate it. In the chat, to the moderators, and me, the host. We appreciate that. Okay. All right. So, the first thing, let me make me some more over here. Okay. So, I was very happy, and thank you guys so much in participating. I did pop out a poll during the week. I like I said, my week was crazy. I've had a lot of correspondence, and that's going to come up at the end of this video. That's the surprise at the end. Okay. I can only say but so much, but that's the surprise at the end. You'll find out more. So I have a whole list. You see, I'm a professional like Tim on a piece of paper. So I had a poll and I had 198 people participate. So 198, that's awesome. So thank you everybody for participating in that poll. Seemed to be a popular poll. And in the poll, I asked, do you believe Tim's story about seeing a cardiologist? And I obviously linked one of my videos, and the results are 3% have said absolutely. Another, and these are actually I think some of these are emojis. I think we have enough members now I can upload more emojis. And like I said, I need to do something with a Judge Mathis type emoji. So I'm working on that one. And if anybody has any suggestions for other types of Tim emojis, post it under one of these membership posts or something. Maybe I'll put a post out about that. And then we have 87% said you cannot believe a word he says, which is a quote that our dear friend Tim says himself. And then here in the stethoscope, it's a not sure, I need more evidence. So we still have 10% of people who are sitting on the fence still a little bit about Tim and whether Tim is actually truthfully seeing a cardiologist. Hey, Ginger, come on in. Charlotte's here. And Sharon's here. It's an A+ in New Zealand at 87%. Well, see, in America, you got to get at least 90. And if it's a medical, it used to be like 93 and above, like 7 point when I was at nursing school. So it was a very tough standards. Okay. Hey, F-Manix, come on in. So I appreciate you all. Just make sure you hit the like button when you come on into the chat. That's going to let other people know that we are here and we are alive and we're talking about our best friend Timmy. All right, I'm going to get some water because I was just walking Junebug and the allergens are horrific today. Okay, so thank you for everybody. If you haven't had a chance to participate in the poll yet, you can pop on over to the post page and participate still. All right, maybe we'll have some polls tonight throughout the night. Maybe I'll get over to the Nightbot. That might be fun. Have some polls throughout the night as to whether you're still believing Timmy is seeing the cardiologist, because I think some of the evidence that he's not is getting quite strong that Tim potentially confabulated this story in. So let's quickly, very fast, talk a little bit about this narcissistic confabulation. I don't want to get too much into it because it's a pretty long article. I did link this article down below in the description box of this video. Comes from the Journal of Addiction and Addictive Disorders, written by this gentleman, Sam Vaknin, who like I said, has described himself as a self-confessed narcissist. But anyway, he wrote this very interesting paper all around the fact about how narcissists kind of have an amnesia around their contact with the world. It says narcissists disassociate. That means that erase memories a lot, or amnesic. Oh my God, I can't even speak to. All right, I'm not even going to try to say that. You all can practice that one. Amnesiac. There we go. Because their contact with the world and with others is via a fictitious construct. The false self narcissists never experience reality directly, but through a distorting lens darkly. They get rid of any information that challenges their grandiose self-perception and the narrative that they had constructed to explicit, excuse, and legitimize their antisocial, self-centered, and exploitative behaviors, choices, and idiosyncrasies. And so, in an attempt to compensate for the yawning gaps in memory, narcissists and psychopaths, it's interesting, he puts the two together, confabulate. They never invent plausible plugins and scenarios of how things might, could, or should have plausibly occurred. To outside of these fictional stopgaps appear as lies. But the narcissist fervently believes in their reality. He may not actually remember what had happened, but surely it could not have happened any other way. And so this kind of article goes on about, they why narcissists often contradict themselves. Tomorrow's confabulation often negates yesterday's. The narcissists do not remember their previous tales because they are not invested with the emotion and cognition that they're integral parts of real memories. So it basically says they just don't think the way we do. And so very sensitive and easily hurt by even smallest criticism, says Mike. Even though they act like they don't care when people don't agree with them, deep down they're really angry. Yeah, and Tim's video was very weird today. I think he was quite unhappy with whatever was going on with his iPhone and his videos not uploading. And we'll get into some of those videos. I have a number of videos. We're not gonna watch any of his videos in total today. We're just gonna pop around a number of different videos that he released in succession, kind of building up on the idea that Tim is not really going to get a stress test as he has so buckled down on. I don't believe this is something. I believe this is actually, in reality, Fred's story that Tim has borrowed. Because coincidentally, Fred is going to see the cardiologist on the same day that Sarasota Tim is. And it makes sense that Fred, who is, I think, Fred is in his 80s. I don't know, early 80s, I'm thinking. So maybe 15 years older than Tim. And so it makes sense that somebody like Fred would have a stress test at that age and that they could potentially find evidence of cardiac disease on a stress test. Tim is very young, and as I said, he's been asymptomatic of any type of heart disease as far as symptom. That would be angina, chest pains, having massive shortness of breath, just on short distance walking, not just what he's been up to. It would be a lot more that would sort of think that a stress test would be something that could find evidence for Tim. But Tim is not symptomatic if he has the 1575 coronary artery calcium score that he says he does, which would mean in reality, stress test isn't really going to find anything. So that would be a waste of everybody's time and money. And so it would be more critical to check his arteries in a cardiac catheterization. And that would be definitive as to whether or not he really does have any significant blockages that would require having a cardiac stent, some type of percutaneous intervention. And that's not what I'm hearing with Tim. I want to say that Tim wants to say that he's going to pass the stress test and try to move out from anything regarding this cardiology. I think he just kind of picked up Fred's story. I have a feeling Fred doesn't really watch Tim's content necessarily. And so he's been able to kind of adopt the story because it seems odd. Barbie says he seemed really unhappy today and a bit sad. Well, Barbie, there might be a reason for that. And it was delivered before April the 1st. So this person would know it wasn't an April Fool's. And I'm going to tell everybody at the end of this video what happened. Oh, his views are down. Yes, his views are down too. Because his content is, he spent 10 minutes at a Walmart showing people how to return cheese to the cold cabinet. Ginger says, haha, mental stress test. The men in white coats would swoop in right after that. Yeah, he's going to get a mental stress test. Tea bucket was out of booze. I don't even know what Trisha said. No shortness of breath. It's the dead giveaway. Yeah, he has no shortness of breath. I mean, when he went up that one set of stairs, which, yeah, a lot of us would probably get short out of breath if we weren't, exercising on the regular and lying about that too, like Tim. All right, Tim. So we're going to hear this point because this was some days ago. So this is about 2 weeks ago. This is when Tim actually left the cardiologist's office. And I just want you to listen very carefully as to how confident he is as to what his dates are on his tests. Because it's very different from the date that he suddenly is giving later on. But this was the date he originally said. It's a little bit further on. Hold on. Let me make this. Let me get this up. Hold on. I guess it skipped along. Okay. So here we go. It's right here at minute 2:01. Okay. Because we don't care about his cheesy, and I'm going to leave him at normal speed so we can hear him. But we're just going to watch little snippets of Tim tonight. All right, Tim, take it away.
April 17th and then April 8th. Yeah, April 8th is my first one. April 17th is another one. That might be my follow-up or the...
Okay. So Tim is supposedly safely, as we know, because he's a man all about road safety. AAA, you're missing out on a representative here. Tim, our friend Tim is a safety king. Anyway, so he's rolling out. This is the day he left the cardiologist's office after that. Just wild coronary artery calcium score. And the physician told him to get back onto the statin medication. Or the Stalin, as Tim likes to refer to it. The thing that he only said he ever took 3 pills of. So he said very clearly, one test was the 17th, one's the 8th. That's what he's reading from this paper, which potentially may coincide with appointments that he has with his eye doctor. Maybe they were the original appointments he was supposed to have until he didn't do his eye care very well. But this is what he's reading. Okay, kick it away, Tim.
23rd, I don't know, the whole month of April. And of course I got to go back to my eye doctor too, but let's stay with the cardiology. All right. I was prescribed a statin drug.
Okay.
And
so he's going to go over, and I've done this before. So I'm going to go back again. We're just going to listen to it one more time. I know it's like overkill, but I just wanted to be very clearly heard. This is what he originally said. He was talking about like his EKGs and all this other stuff. Now we can find the word stress. I don't think he talks about that. This is his first appointment. He talks about his first appointment. So I'm going to take it back a little bit. All right. Take it away, Tim.
I was warned that these cardiologists, they're booked. So you're not going to come in tomorrow. So my first appointment is April 17th and then April 8th. Yeah, April 8th is my first one. April 17th is another one. That might be my follow-up or the 23rd. I don't know. The whole month of April. And of course I got to go back to my eye doctor too, but let's stay with the cardiology. All right. I took
Did anybody hear April the 2nd? Anybody hear April the 2nd? Okay. Let's get back. All of it. I saw the 7th. I've seen the 8th. I've seen everything. But I've not heard him say April the 2nd. Yes. He was supposedly had just left the cardiology office in this video, okay? That was the one that said very clearly. I wrote it down. Solo RV living went to a cardiologist. This was the day he went to the cardiologist. Where are you, Tim? He has so many videos. But it was that one. It was the solo RV living. That was where he said, and he went to the cardiologist. And it was like literally about 2 weeks ago. Okay. There it is, right here. 11 days ago. Okay. So that's the date he said originally. Okay. Now we're going to go move over to the next video where it's the morning chat, solo RV living. Okay. So that's just when he was like, it's a different morning chat because we know that Tim likes, the hooks here. So it's getting a little bit more recent. So it's called morning chat. This one right here. Solo RV living. So seven day go. So 5 days after that, there may be some other ones, but these are the ones that I significantly remember. Okay. So, all right. Take it away, Tim.
If you will be walking on the treadmill for your stress portion, you will be asked to hold any beta blockers. What is that? For 24 to 48 hours. For example, metoprolol, toprol, antiolol. This is when the lady told me when she gave me this, anything that ends with OL, don't take it. Well, I guess that means my Tylenol eye drops. I won't take it. For a list of foods and drinks with caffeine, please see the website below. Please check your insurance. For additional fees and doses. Oh, no, I'm not going to. This is where that CT scan I got, that isn't covered under your disadvantage plan. That's going to be $70. I had 2 of those done. One was an X-ray to see something, and then another one was a CT scan. I'm getting hot in here.
Is that because you're not telling the truth, Tim? All right, let me go back to see where he talks about April. Because this is the one I had listed where I think he talks about another date in here. It was morning chat, solo RV living. Let me see if I can find the word April. Here we go. Right here, 8:42, right where he says it's hot in here. Okay, so right at this point, this is where he says it.
April 2. Believe me, if I stick to my no Stalin pills, just get the stress test to find out, because you.
Did anybody ever hear him talk about April 2 when he originally came out of the cardiologist office? It was like 8th, 17th, 23rd, and he was looking at a piece of paper. So, but then he kind of ends it, well, who knows? So, I mean, this is a sort of, sort of things that I'm just like, if you thought you just heard it or read it, wouldn't you say the second? But this is where he first mentions 5 days later, the second. This is that when he first starts mentioning this date. And I would give most people the benefit of the doubt. But Tim was looking at a piece of paper that he supposedly had just received from the cardiology people, talking about his tests. And the first thing that's come up so far since he left that cardiology office has been the stress test, because he'd already had supposedly the coronary artery calcium score 1. Make sure you hit the likes. We got lots of people here. Make sure you hit the likes. Lori says these phantom appointments would be performed by technicians, not a cardiologist. He's a hopeless liar. Absolutely. Absolutely. But this is the first time he doubles down on the second right here in this one. And he's getting hot because he's lying.
And the doctor said that this is a true, everything else, EKG, the CT scan, the calcium score, the blood work of elevated cholesterol, none of it holds any water to what apparently the stress thing
is. So it's not even not for Tim's case, because he's not symptomatic. And actually, it'd be more important to know Tim's LDL and have him work on lowering that LDL on a statin medication, and then come back in a few months to evaluate that. If he had like a coronary artery calcium score that matched, his kind of cholesterol number. I think he took Fred's or artery score. Maybe not even Fred's. Who knows? Who knows who's he bought? Who knows? Keep going, Tim.
Will show. Well, there are first steps to tell you if you need to go to that. So, we got to get all.
My friend, who is a cardiology nurse practitioner, clearly stated that if he had a 1575 coronary artery calcium score, it would be pretty critical. And you'd be on the table getting the cath. This wouldn't just be slid over to a stress test. Keep going,
all the tests. It's hot.
All the tests.
It's hot.
I don't know what other tests. Hasn't talked about all the other tests. All the other tests have gone to the wayside because he talked about having an echocardiogram at one point. Got anything else to say, Tim, on these lies?
Man, sweating.
Yeah, you are. Because you're never in there. Because that's another lie. You don't live in the RV, Tim. You haven't been in there overnight because you were in your apartment with Miss Tammy. So it's hot in the RV because you came in there in the morning and the AC hasn't been running all night. That's why it's hot in there. That's why it's hot tin can that you're inside. Yeah, he better worry about a stroke, Johnny. You're right. Tim running out of money. Oh, yeah. We'll get into the one at some point. We'll make sure we get over to the one where he starts to complain about needing to get more. Yeah, he needs to let us know his triglycerides too. And his LDL. There's a lot of stuff. And his HDL. And that would have actually given us more. If we had, like we said, I went over the pooled cohort equation for atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease 10-year risk. And if I had better numbers for Tim, I could have given a better idea of what his risk factor is, and therefore what could have potentially been Tim's real treatment plan. I don't even think he really saw anybody about the blood work because he only had one number. It's weird. And he started going on about LDLs, but we've never heard the LDL. If we have, let me know, because I don't think I've heard it. And I've been paining myself listening to Tim's content. All right, finish it out, Tim.
So anyway, that's the deal. Hope you enjoyed morning chat. It was really good for me.
Okay. Yep, no. Tim not telling truths over here. Okay, so we're going to go to another one. This is driving to the eye doctor, first a senior coffee. Okay, so driving to the eye doctor, first a senior coffee. Okay, so I kind of wanted to show everybody the progression of how many videos Tim just goes to. So it's right here. I tried to set everything up, but just to sort of see, you can see Tim's numbers too. I mean, he's not anywhere near what he used to get. Oh, and he talked in one of his videos, and I can't remember which one it is. I thought I had maybe it's this one? I don't know. One of them where he talked about how he got rich off of his video. The Social Security one. He finally talked about that. And I wrote it down somewhere, but I can't remember. All right, Tim, let's get to this one.
To me.
Okay.
And so we're going to find out. And then on April 2, it's not till April 2. Today's only what, the 25th or something? Still got another week before I go to the cardiologist to get the old.
So we're back. We're sticking with April 2 now. April 2 was never the date ever mentioned when he initially left the cardiologist and read that piece of paper. He said the 8th. Never said the 2nd. He never said that they called him and rearranged the appointment. Just went over to the 2nd. This is why because Tim tells everything except real stuff. Keep going, Tim.
Old stress test. Find out if I'm going to make it or not.
Sorry,
in the meantime, I'm definitely going to have my health kicking it and rocking on all 8 cylinders by following my diet
I'm sorry,
for the next week and hitting that cardio every day. In fact,
And I'm sorry to be that. Sorry, my eyes. I'm rubbing my eyes. My eyes. I just took Junebug for a walk, and I should have put some eye drops in. And I have contacts, so I apologize. And I'm so sorry to hear this. I had an ischemic stroke last year due to high cholesterol. I changed my diet and quit smoking. I haven't been asked to do a stress test yet. Well, I am so sorry to hear that you had that. I'm hoping that it was not a stroke that affected any functions, and that it was reversed, and that you're doing great, because it was ischemic. Hopefully they caught it in time. I hope you're doing so much better. We're glad you made the important lifestyle changes, because that is the part that's the most important. I saw something very sad today. And nobody wants to be in the place where I saw this poor person. So yeah, I'm sorry, Anne. I'm so sorry. And I'm glad for the people who highlighted that. So I hope you're doing better. And did you get a blockage? Did you have a COVID vaccines? I don't know if we can anecdotally talk about that one, Johnny. Remember, I might put you under the conspiracies with Tim. Okay. So as we can see, Tim's, definitely doubling down here on April the 2nd. Okay. So this was back on how many days ago? This was 6 days ago. So he definitely wanting to make sure he's, here. So, okay. So I'm like, okay, so Tim's just going to keep doubling down April the 2nd. Fine. Okay. Then he suddenly comes out with something really interesting on the surf and turf video the other day. And then we'll get to some of the other weird things he's been up to. But this one just came out. Here we got Jim leaving the chat. He looks pretty happy over here. I wonder what he's up to. So here we have, let me see. Here we are. Surf and turf. Okay. So let's hear what's going on here.
And I don't know how you get these. Oh, they're plenty hot. How you get these shells off. Yeah, they're like little lobsters, baby. Oh my gosh, they are so hot and delicious.
Mom.
What can I put these on?
A plate?
Oh.
Just wipe.
You're done.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this little dipping sauce for the.
Remember when Tim had the one where he had supposedly the butter fiasco or whatever that came flying out of the microwave? Created drama by Tim. All right, keep going, Tim.
The shrimps. Let me see if I can get one.
To ruin even shrimp.
Shelled here. I don't know how to do it. It's probably a special way. Maybe a fork.
Can somebody give Tim some help here about how to open up a shrimp? Who cooks it? Or steamed? I know here in the South, especially in this area, you're going to be with a lot of raw bar steamed shrimp in the shell, steamed with a lot of Old Bay seasoning. It's very, very popular here. And so, but you just kind of take the shell off. I mean, Tim supposedly grew up in Florida. You would think that you were his arms. Oh, I know, Stacey. It's scary, isn't it? It is frightening, isn't it? Make sure you hit the likes, guys. All right, Tim. It is scary.
Can you see this? Take the tail off. They're so hot. It's hard to. Oh, there it comes right off.
He's not cooked them right.
That's hot.
See, he's done something to it that now the shells, if it gets too hot and he hasn't cooked it right, like if you don't steam them or something, those shells will just kind of stick to the meat. You got Tim does not know how to cook. Even I know that.
They are hot. Wow. It doesn't do any good to put them in that butter in the shell because I'm going to make a mess in my hands grabbing them and taking the shell off. But we'll do this. We'll take one. Let that steak rest for a second, see? Oh, come on, man. This is so hot on my hands. I can't take it. Oh, I just want to get one down for you to try it.
God.
The shells are being stubborn because it's hot. Oh, there's got to be a way. I'm going to look on YouTube. How do you take the shell off a shrimp? All right, so there you go. There's one. Stick it there in the butter. Let's get us another napkin.
Exactly.
And we're going to cut that steak and see what that's about. Yeah, it's done, of course. It's so tender, folks. Oh, this is a nice size. A nice size filet. That fat right there is so good to eat.
Okay.
Look at that.
All right, Tim. What are you talking about your stuff in April?
Take this bite.
Hold on. All
Cut
right,
that
Tim. Hold on. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm trying to see because no, hold on. It was Fred. Here we go. Right here. All right. I went back. I need to go back. Okay. Sorry. But that part about the shrimp was pretty funny. Okay. I had to share that because that was the worst shelling of shrimp I've ever seen. Okay, Tim, take it away about this other part. I'm going to go back just a tiny bit. All right.
Twice a day. And so that's what I'm doing. And so she understood. But you know, I'll let her cook me some aglio in the future soon. But anyway, I like going over there and catching up with those two. And you know, Fred's going the same day as me to get his heart checked.
What?
This stress test thing that I'm going to get done Tuesday or Wednesday, the 2nd of April.
How does that happen? How in the love of our Lord, in our AC, whatever, how is it that he and Fred managed to get a stress test on the exact same day of the week? How has that happened? A tandem stress test. It was a tandem. Is it a buy one, get one free, 2 for 1? Yes, it was. Gee, it is a coincidence. Wow. Wow. Tim, the medical word, do you think can happen? I just how does that happen? It just seems really odd that he and Fred both at the same. Go figure. All right, keep telling us about it, Tim.
So let's take a look at our shrimp now. See what we got.
Okay, moved off of that.
I just don't want this phone to blow over because.
All right, and he moved off of that topic, shockingly. Okay, then we got him right now, coming to you from Walmart. Okay, this part is just classic Tim, and then we get to hear again, I believe. It's the 2nd or the 3rd, he said. So he doesn't even know what date he said on the last video. I'm sorry. It's just not adding up. All right, Tim, take it away.
28 of them. It's pretty heavy to pick up and take in. And I don't know how much it is, but one thing I got, plenty of money.
What did you say,
Right.
Tim? Tim just told us he got plenty of money. Well, we're going to go back in a moment, Tim, and listen to your videos in your shortest ever morning chat or evening chat. And you seem to have a very differing opinion about that. And then maybe we'll take a look at the Starking. Yeah, it's a cardiac. It's a spring special. But he's clear about something in a minute about the stress test. Even though he and Fred are having it all the same day. Started out on the 8th of April. mysteriously moved to the second because Tim, a man who we'll see in a minute, makes content about putting cheese back into a cold cabinet. And I'm going to make you suffer it because I did at regular speed. Then we're going to go listen to his fun over at the iPhone. There's other stuff. And then we'll get into some stalking. And then I'll tell you what I've been up to make his life even more fun. Well, look at his video for the gym because he's still got to put out that content. All right, keep going, Tim.
That big old heavy water down there. I'm front end heavy on this thing.
Oh, gosh.
Going down here and
Get off the girls, Tim.
cash out.
The strawberry apricot. That sounds good.
Here I go. It's a very slow day.
All right, let me make sure I get the right poll because I know I've made sure, but sometimes I seem to go to different places. Here we go. All right, here we go. Right here. So it was a little bit further down. Okay, right here.
Fred and I. He's going to one place, I'm going to another. Hey, look, shirts.
Okay. Let me go back. Fred, he's going to one place and I'm going to another. So let me go back a little bit further because maybe he starts to talk about it. Hold on.
Here I go. It's a very slow day. Why? Oh, it's Monday, right? Tomorrow I have to see the eye doctor to find out the pressure. Wish me luck on that. And then I've got to, the next day, go get a stress test. Me and Fred and I. He's going to one place, I'm going to another. Hey, look, shirts.
And then he goes off on a different How does that happen? How does that happen? How does it happen that nurses diagnosed with brain tumors? She claims as many as 10 nurses who work on the floor have diagnosed with different brain tumors in the last few years. Some cancers. I'm not sure where that story is coming out from. I feel like I'm in the middle of a conversation there. Okay. He's vain? Well, yeah. But he wants you to pay for his healthcare. He does. And it's just interesting that he started off on the 8th of April reading a piece of paper, then went to the 2nd of April. Tim never mentioned like, oh, I got a call. They had to move my test dates. No, that did not happen. He would have definitely made a whole morning chat video around them moving his test date because Tim has no content as we're about to watch. But that's not what happens. That's not what the narcissist liar that Tim is. No, he suddenly moved to April the 2nd. And now, why are we adding in the detail that Fred is also having a stress test this day on the same day? It's just very odd. It's very strange. It's a very odd storyline. And it's very, in my mind, not plausible that Tim's having a stress test, though I believe it's plausible that Fred would be. I have heard rumors that Tim seems to spend the majority of his day driving up and down kind of a main strip in Bradenton, Florida. And that's kind of how he spends his time. And so if you do like this type of content, he gets his heart material from Fred. That's what I'm thinking. You can join my membership, so you help support my community, and I know many of you are, and I truly do believe it. And I do give out free memberships 2 times a month on a live. So there you go. And then you can always help buy me a coffee. He's definitely truly dry bagging, Ginger. Absolutely, because remember the CT scan, the coronary artery calcium, one time was covered by the insurance and not covered by too many discrepancies in Tim's stories. Too many discrepancies. Okay, let's get to some more exciting content from Tim here because Tim decides to spend about a good few minutes doing
it's called queso fresca. Where would that be? In here?
Now, I'll give you a little premise behind what's going on. Supposedly, somebody just randomly dumped a thing of queso fresca in Tim's cart in the Walmart. And so Tim decides to take it on upon himself in this very strange moment in Walmart to return the cheese to the coal cabinet. This is the content that is so riveting. This is the content that I supposedly steal from Tim.
If I don't put it back in the right place, I'm going to hear about it. So I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I just throw it right in there. Queso fresca. Where in the world does it go? I'm about ready to just throw it in here because I'm not going to search around the entire store. Might it be around the cheese? Queso fresca. Are you guys going to be so proud of me if I put it back? I feel like I'm getting warm here. I thought this was it. Oh, I know. I was looking over here, remember? It's got to be in here. I was looking at the, trying to find the Machango for you guys. I guarantee you it's in here. Oh, it looks close. Almost looks like a puzzle match right there. Look at that. It almost looks like, but it doesn't fit. Where is it? Come on now. Somebody threw this in my basket. They're going to be missing it. Queso fresca.
No, Tim, they obviously changed their mind and then they just threw it in your basket. I don't think they mistook yours. I think they changed their mind, just threw it in your basket.
Oh, man. I'll have to look up on the aisle. I mean,
this is his content. If you've ever watched National Lampoon's European Vacation, it's a very famous scene where Chevy Chase enters into a British hotel and the son and I guess the mum who run this bed and breakfast that they are staying at in London are watching a documentary around the making of cheese. And they were talking about how good it was, because that literally was the type of content that I grew up with in the UK on the BBC in the 1970s. Tim's content is even more dull than a documentary around the making of cheese. And I've actually worked at a cheese factory and helped put cheese into these bloody packets, believe it or not. I think it was Irish Kerrygold cheese, which is right here. I think it was a Kerrygold factory behind my house. God dang it. And they actually, you know what's so funny? Because it was the Irish cheddar Kerrygold, there was some type of bomb threat supposedly called in, and we had to evacuate the cheese factory and stand outside. And I was only a student getting like paid as a temp job. But yeah, we had to get out of the factory because there was a bomb threat. So, yep, there we go. All right, Tim, carry on. I can make cheese way more exciting than you.
The app and find it. Now, you know this goes right here. You guys probably see it. I used to pass this out when I was doing the crackers for the job I had at Publix.
And that's how I confirm that the email address that I found towards the also your postings around your Harley Davidson is because that Tim Baker SR at yahoo.com, Tim, has a picture of you in a bow tie. It looks like from your Publix days. So it's about the time you were opening up your YouTube stuff.
That was a product they sent me one time that I dished out. Oh, man. Look at this. Is almost a fit, too.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to launch a new poll whether or not you think Trim is being truthful about having a stress test on April the 2nd. Just a simple yes or no. It's just been released. So if you want to jump into the chat, you can participate in that poll. All right, guys, have fun with that. Let's keep looking at Tim Return Cheese.
This is fresh cheese. So, where does fresh cheese go?
Queso fresco.
Please, help a brother out. Must have been the last one in the store. All right, we'll go over here and look. We'll look around.
Can you believe this? I mean, I'm surprised he's not touched every pack of cheese along the way. This is his content. He thinks we're stealing this. I mean, aren't we enthralled whether Tim finds where the cheese goes?
Looking is free. Cheese, 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 cheese. No cheese. Where is somebody that works here? This is crazy. Garlic powder. I'm moving for that dash.
And that's an interesting point too, Mark. We'll see how rapidly Tim gets through his test. But don't give it away. We don't give too much away because we know he watches me. Because that's why he's taking the baby aspirin. We know that.
Too, but right now I just want to get out of here. Oh, I done got myself in a trap. I just throw this in there anywhere. Let somebody else worry about it. Okay, so I had to do the last one. Because look.
Well, you see, this is what we hate to steal from Tim. This is this innovative content. And Tim, I want to remind you the term fireside chat, and it might have started even before that, but that was a term that was used by Franklin Delano Roosevelt in order to talk about his radio little addresses that he would have with the American public. He used to call those fireside chats. So it sounds like you're stealing content from FDR. Thief, Tim. You're a content thief.
Seems like it's in the specialty cheese area where I already was.
Hey, come on in.
Not even another brand. It's cold too, so it came out of here. My oh my. Well, I'm going to end the camera.
I mean, there's been a lot going on with Social Security. And for a man who hashtags Social Security almost to every video he releases next to hashtag retirement, how have you not addressed anything that potentially could be happening around Social Security at this moment, Tim? You have no knowledge about the topic at all. You just come out. He's one of these people who he just likes to get out there, talk about what he's done. He's got no expertise to talk about anything else.
Do you have any idea where this goes?
Lord,
you know where this goes? Huh? Over there?
Over there, right against
Somebody must have put it in my cart. I'll put it back. I'll put it back. Thank you, Mike.
Do you think the Walmart person cares? Tim's getting his steps in for that stress test.
My friend. Yep. Well, here it is, folks. Look at that. They got a whole bunch of it. Now, don't put it here, Baker. Oh, wait a minute. This is not the right brand. We got to. Here she is. Here she is. That's it. And I guess the big ones could just go there.
Maybe you'll find that Manchego cheese that you were looking for too, Tim. Like I guess he's talking
because that was the last one. Look, here's some I didn't put it back. Put it down here. Here's some other ones. Wait a minute, folks. No, you're good right there. Stay right there, and stay.
Is Tim having difficulty matching cheese packets? It's kind of scary, Tim. That's kind of scary. All right. So that's how exciting Tim has been getting with his content lately. So I thought we'd take a look at his chat from the was it the iPhone? Oh, this one, the shortest chat ever in my life. This one I felt was quite an interesting one because I think it gets down to deeply a little bit more about who Tim is.
Remind everybody, I received my commission check today from Amazon for being an Amazon affiliate, and it was piss poor. So
Can you imagine if I got on here like, you know what, guys? I just took a look at the coffee donations and the super chats and like what you've given me tonight, and it's piss poor. What a way to talk to your audience. What a way. Sir.
I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have this dry begging. Well, I mean, you know what that is.
Yeah, it's not even dry begging. It's like just like literally being like, really like, wow. Wow. Yeah, you suckers need to pay him up. Way out, come on, guys. You all use Amazon. Don't chintz me out of money. You gotta send it over here to your pal Sarasota Tim. That's a good pause face right here. Don't you want to help this old man out? Don't you want to help him out? I mean, he gets really feisty in this one. Because remember, we just heard him from Walmart telling people he got plenty of money. And he's bought all of these liabilities. So what's the problem, Tim? What's the problem? Take it away. Keep charming us, Tim.
So I have to send out a little video reminding everybody. I put these links in the description for Buy Me a Coffee and Amazon. Amazon doesn't cost you a penny. If you wouldn't mind clicking on that link, if you're going to shop on Amazon and using it, last month was 3 times the commission that I made this month. So it doesn't cost you anything. And I just would ask you to help me out if you wouldn't mind clicking on the link. It'll take you to a phone case. From there, you just shop for what you want, put it in your cart, buy your stuff. Doesn't cost you anything. And I'll get commissions from Amazon. I need these commissions.
I thought he said he had plenty of money. He gets the free money from the Social Security. Plus, Tim, at least I remind you, you got close to 80 grand in government money. Plus, there's one of these videos, and like, if anybody can remember which one it was, I wrote it down, and then I lost the piece of paper. I can't remember why I wrote it down. I write things in weird places. But he literally said in one of his videos very recently in the last couple of days that he got rich from the Social Security video. And he clearly says that in one of his very recent videos. And I wrote it down and I marked it, and I wanted to play it tonight, and I forgot which one it was. He obviously puts out so much content. I didn't have the time to go through it all again. But he did clearly say that. Keep telling your audience of Tim.
I mean, after last month or two, when I talked about it, more and more people were doing it. And I was, really enjoying a nice little bonus on my Social Security. So I have to ask you, please, to use the...
What's wrong with the YouTube AdSense, Tim? Thank you, Flat Pat, for that super chat. Flat Pat says, I thought Tim wanted stuffed animals. He wants some stuff with cash, Pat. We know that. And Tim also gives out really bad health and wellness advice. And at the moment, he has been the king of the flip-flopperoo as far as the content. And also, Tim, at least I remind you, some people, potentially have had, the markets have been a little flat lately. And so there maybe people aren't feeling like they're getting, their dividends off their stocks in retirement and have that spare cash, or maybe that just the cost of living has gone up And so they don't have that little bit of extra even to go Amazon shopping. A lot of us are, watching our purse strings, Tim. You're out there, spending money on cloud whatever shoes, and then you're turning around like this on your audience. This is wild, Tim. Wild. Poor me. I'm a narcissist. I need the money, says Tim. I mean, I guess his YouTube AdSense is down because Tim would know about this time now, because today is our last day of making anything for the month of March. And YouTube is a month-to-month cycle. So you have all the time. And if it's a 28-day month, you have 28 days. If it's a 31-day month, like it is in March, the days will be 31 days of earnings. And Tim, we know, has just been putting out content, obviously, left, right, and center. But I don't think that, and he's been getting buy me a coffees, but not to how it was last year. About this time last year, because Olive Oil put out videos that clearly indicated that Tim was, and I think Darling too, I think even I looked at her at some point, he was getting like $1,000 a month and buy me a coffees when he was getting ready to travel out west. Now he's listened to him now. Tim, this is shameful. I mean, yeah, I dry begged on my buy me a coffees and whatever, but mine actually goes to pay for other people.
Amazon link, and I'll ask everybody, if you're watching my videos, if you like my channel, then I must require you to give it a thumbs up. You have to go, whether you watch it on TV, your phone, your tablet, you got to go to that little thumbs up and give it a thumbs up. I can't have 3,000 views and 100 thumbs up. Come on now, help me out, because
if anybody caught up with Miss Vicky's video, she went over the people that have disliked and liked Tim's video. And Tim, you get a lot of, you should be grateful for the hate views. We're keeping your channel alive now. See, this is where problematic channels like you, Tim, narcissistic bullies like you, flippy floppy, wishy-washy liars, that people do not like that. People like authenticity. People like genuine people that show up like this, no makeup on, ridiculous hair. You try to be authentic, Tim, but you've been caught in so many lies. And that stalking story, we're going to get over to that in a moment, because that sounded like just absolute BS. And that was the most BS story I think I've ever heard. And Tim's attempt to create drama and make some content in a channel that has literally a couple of minutes of a man returning a pack of cheese as his content. Returning a pack of cheese. Flat Pat, thank you again. Flat Pat says, remember when Tim said he needed $300 a month extra, and now he's revised the number to $2,000 a month. Woo! And he said, and I will find that video. I will find it, where he said he got rich off of his Social Security video. That video should still be making him good revenue. So Tim is like living at large, to do all that traveling and stuff like that, and to buy all those trucks and all the shopping and all the stuff that Tim does. It is not inexpensive. And like I said, this is a man who literally got 80 grand. And there's still people going to jail for that EIDL stuff. So Tim's still on a watch list. All right, Tim, keep begging.
Because that will push the videos out to the YouTube world out there.
All right, Tim, I definitely know you've been watching my lives, or any of us who do us over here on these channels, because I definitely, I know Blind Views does too. We all do it. I know I do it all the time. Remind people to hit the likes when you come on in, because it helps me kick up the YouTube algorithm, along with, liking, commenting, subscribing, watching my videos all the way through, clicking on it if you see that I've come on or come live. I hope I'm not losing too much of my power here. I'm like on 1 bar. Come on, Verizon. Don't let me down like that with the StreamYard. Okay. All right. Let's see where we are over here on the giveaway, on the thing. Oh, so we've got 89% think Tim does not have the stress test on April 2nd. 10%. We still have 10% believing that Tim is being a truthful person. That seems interesting. All right, Tim, keep complaining about your money.
And make me rich. No, it'll just get the entertainment going so we can get more people. I'm trying to get that 100,000 subscribers so I can get that plaque. I mean, Wells Fargo keeps saying, where are you? Where are you? You got your plaque yet? We're ready for you. So, yeah, it's a bucket list thing. It's something I'd like to do in 2020.
Could one of your bucket lists have been pay child support? Could one of your bucket lists not been an absolute toxic bullying here on YouTube and had copyright struck unnecessarily many different channels and made people fearful to make reactions around you? You see, I haven't been scared of you, Tim, and I've kept on going. I'm just going to kind of change a little bit about how I do it. I'm not going to use the whole entire one of your videos, and I just don't care about using your name. How about that? Okay, keep going, Tim. Keep begging.
5. So I have to mention it regarding the Amazon link and the thumbs up and hitting the subscribe button. So if you don't mind, do that until tomorrow morning when we have coffee together. We're going to crush it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to get caught on that. Let me make me big for a second. Let me make me bigger. Here we go. All right, we'll get back to Tim. I just don't want to get caught on his music. I can just see that would be the one thing he tries to get me for. I doubt that's anything either. I doubt that has copyright, because Tim would be too cheap to pay for that. All right, let me get back over to where Tim is at. So let's see where we are on the Tim. 90% still says. So if you haven't had a chance to answer the poll yet, we've only had 81 votes. So that seems like only half of you have voted, which means I don't fully think we've got a full idea of how many people really think Tim's telling the truth. Okay, so let's go over and so Tim just supposedly left the gym. Oh, and now, so I think this is the thing. He says he's leaving the gym. It's a 9-minute video. Let's see if he says anything more about his stress test in any of this. No more stress tests. Let me see. If he talks about his cardiac care. What's he talking about care about? I don't know. Oh, he's going to the gym. Okay, let's kind of take him. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Hold on. So I'm trying to get past Tim's intro and him. All right, so here he is at the gym. We'll just take it away. This is Tim's most recent video. Sorry. I meant to have that better set up. Anyway, let's get over here. I had everything flashing up. Needs to be 10 seconds. Needs to be 10 seconds. Oh, well, I don't think I was 10 seconds. Yeah, I don't think I was 10 seconds. I don't think I could be long enough to be 10 seconds. Okay. All right. Let's just hear what he's talking about as he's leaving the gym. Driving chat, leaving the gym. How did he start out here? I don't know. Let's take it away.
There's all these young guys, just got off the work 20, the prison job.
Oh, shoot.
And all the guys in there were all buff, and they're all.
Yeah, whatever, Tim. Let's speed him up.
Pushing up all this weight, even on the machines, which is what I do. And so I got to look right. I got to grunt and push up too. I did though. I mean, man, it was worth it. I got pressure. All right.
That doesn't sound like that would be very good with that pressure in the eye or potentially having an upcoming stress test. Especially with that high coronary artery calcium score, I'd be petrified about having a sudden stroke or heart attack. But not Tim. Tim's going to continue on the carnivore diet, not taking his statin medications. And he's going to ace that stress test. You know it, because he's studying for it at the gym now.
Pressure in my eye, pressure in my brain and my heart right now from pushing that weight up. Wow. But what a good workout. If you're not going to a gym and you're 65.
That doesn't sound like a good thing when supposedly his eye isn't doing great. I promise you, he's not really followed the care instructions to ensure anything was going to work on that eye. Yeah, he never sweats. I know. He's like he's a lady.
You got to get in there. Do nothing but walk around, look at everything if you have to the first time. Sit down, push up a couple things and build on it. Get in here, crush it. All right, so on my way back to the house, the trailer, and we're going to get that cue out and start grilling them thighs. I'm ready for them. And then there won't be any fire, I can tell you that. It's 77.
This is the content. Keep going, Tim. We'll get over to the stalking video if nothing interesting happens.
Degrees. The sun is going down.
Great.
And
Oh, well, this seems wise, don't you think? For a man who has glaucoma and hasn't had great results to just roll out with nothing over his eyes. I can't even go outside with a shady day without sunglasses on. And I don't have glaucoma. But I do have cataracts, and I'm trying to stop them from getting worse. And so my optician clearly told me, you need to wear sunglasses all the time.
might be 69 by sunrise. So way too warm to sit around a fire. 65, if it was 65 right now, it'd be perfect. I'd have one. But not this heat, baby. So I've been trying to buy this bicycle, but I think I'm giving up on it. I've now moved off of the Electra manufacturer, which is owned by Trek. And I just started looking for men's bikes on Facebook Market. And I started seeing.
I don't understand this whole thing about the bike. Please don't get an Electra. An Electra Beach Cruiser is actually what I have, Tim. Couldn't believe it when he started talking about the Electra Beach Cruisers. No, you cannot have the bike I have.
All these Treks. I figured, Trek's a good brand. And man, what a difference in the price. You could buy a lot of bike. It's not the same style, for $100. They're a dime a dozen for $100. So what is that? Is that a Ford? It's a GMC. So I might buy one. I might not. One of them looked really nice, but they were honest and said was submerged during the hurricane.
This is a man who does not seem to be at all concerned with the 1575 coronary artery calcium score because, his cardiologist told him not to worry about it.
Here in this area, in Bradenton, this is
unheard of. Okay, that is
ground
absolutely
zero
unheard of.
On whatever the name of that hurricane was.
That is absolutely unheard of in the world of cardiology. I have to preface this all the time for the 10% who does not think Tim is not telling the truth. There is no cardiologist who would not be treating this a little differently, and it would not be through a stress test. Tim is I don't even think he saw the dermatologist because we never saw sutures on the chest, and Tim would have been milking the heck out of that. I think the only doctor that Tim is currently seeing are Doc in the box when he needs it, and the ophthalmologist. That's it.
Hit us 6 months ago. Can't believe it's been 6 months already. All of our fencing is back up, the privacy fencing. You see a few blue tarps around now, not too many on these houses. So everybody's kind of back to normal until this summer when hurricane season starts again. Then here we go again, right? That's been 100 years though on this coast. Over in West Palm Beach, you really got to worry about it. Not so much here. And even Tampa has to worry more. They normally.
I know. Tim, I understood, had a number of e-bikes that he had sent to him. And he, I think, sold them on Facebook Marketplace. Now he's out looking for a bike. I've had the same bike for like 20 years, Tim. I just keep it up.
Go in up there further to the north here in the Gulf side. But I don't have to worry anywhere I'm at because I got a house on wheels. I just hook up and leave because that's what I can do and that's what I'll always do.
Diet does change it, which this is how I just know that Tim is, not truthful, or he's taking somebody else's who's a different patient than the one. Because maybe if it was Fred that was talking to the doctor, Fred potentially has a Mediterranean style diet already. And so maybe they said, no, he didn't really need to change his diet so much. Maybe because that's a different person. Tim you would definitely be told that you need to change the diet to the Mediterranean style. And he did that. And then he went back to the other because he's just full of just absolute health misinformation and absolute bogus information around health and wellness, which is part of the reason why I also have a big problem with Tim. And obviously the way he talks about healthcare providers and just the lies around the medical field altogether is problematic to me.
I don't have to worry about getting blown away.
Yep.
Man, what a workout I had. After 2 days, I'll probably feel that tomorrow.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Ann.
Well, this is the prettiest part of the day, about an hour before sunset.
Yeah.
And that's the time.
Yes, I empathize with the blue eyes because I'm very blue-eyed, and that's why I have to I wear like big, almost like glaucoma-looking sunglasses. That's what another pair of Ray-Bans I have, and I wear those in the water.
It is right now. I need to get over to the beach. I need to get the grill over to the park or the beach. I need to go there and see a sunset. I need to get out of here. I was looking at myself.
If you were having all these health issues, you would not be like, this is why he's just full of BS. He is absolutely full of BS. He's full of BS. He is. Blind man driving. No sunglasses. I mean, how dangerous. I mean, you obviously don't care if your eye improves, Tim. You do everything seemingly against your eye.
My video. What a good looking man I am. No, just kidding. My freaking eye is bad, isn't it? The left eye. It looks like it's the size of a dime. This one's a quarter. I'm a freak.
Oh, God.
What are you going to do?
Well, Tim, you could follow the advice of your physicians. That's some of the things you could do. They told you not to lean forward and all sorts of stuff. And you were just awful about even sitting still for a moment long enough to even get better or heal. And you're not wearing sunglasses. You touch your eyes with your eye drops with your dirty hands. You probably skip half your drops because you're more concerned about making money off of these videos than actually taking care of yourself. If you've had plenty of money come your way, Tim, and you've squandered it probably on nonsense and a bunch of garbage because you're not a minimalist. You're more of a hoarder if you could be.
So tomorrow morning he's going to tell me, God, what if the pressure is still high and I'm taking these drops? Oh, man. Well, I'm sure the pressure had to come down with the drops, but what does that mean? What happened to the straw? He stuck in my eye. What's that? We're going to forget about that now. I'm telling you, these doctors and this government, oh, here he goes.
Oh, gosh. We'll let you go, Tim.
And these people in our government, call them what you want, Democrats, Republicans, liberals, woke, conservatives, crazies, extremists, oligarchies. What is an oligarchy? I know what it is. But now I heard through the grapevine because I took my ear off the ground. I didn't want to hear anymore. And I heard today about
this is the man who was out there with placards and chanting and blowing horns.
They got a new news cycle. See, that's what I get bored with. They get on one thing and they want to beat it like a dead horse. Look at this bicycle over here.
All right, Tim. So I wonder if let's get back over to Tim stalking just to finish it out tonight, because I don't think he's going to say anything interesting. And then I'll share with you some of my big news. Okay. Let's get over here where he talks about being having a stalker over here. Okay. So this is where it starts, and
but no,
listen,
don't come by uninvited.
I'm sure you've heard it.
Don't do that. Even if you mean well, and I know all of you do. I've never had anybody that's came by when I lived in Boynton that I was ever worried about. They were just wanting to say hello to me because I publicly made known where I lived. And like I said earlier, a lot of people came there. But if you see me, Walmart, gym, anywhere out, and you recognize me, of course, let's make a video. You know, I'll say hello to you. Of course, I'm like that. But you can't just come by and knock on my door. So I have to retract that invitation due to the fact that I don't want to break rules that have been enforced regarding private property. And I'm having a hard time believing it. I've never seen the sheriff's office driving through where I live. But now I've seen not once, but 2 or 3 times a mark.
Let me go back and make sure I get to the start of this story, because sometimes, like I said, I think I set things up and it goes back. Okay, here we go. So we'll go back. Now, I'm going to go backwards, and I apologize. It's interesting, and I wanted to kind of preface this part where he talks about the sirens and all of that and the sheriff's office, because we hear sirens at night. That's not because New York Dam was rolling through with a car. I do not believe this story, and because of the lack of plausibility in the respect that, one, Dan never said what type of vehicle he had as a rental car that I'm aware of. I don't think we knew what type of rental car he was driving. I don't think I was aware. I don't know if anybody else saw it maybe flash in the window, but I certainly didn't notice. And somebody at an RV park wouldn't know the difference between an Uber Eats driver, a Uber or Lyft driver, somebody swinging by to see a friend. I don't think that they ever would have this conversation that Tim purports to have had. I think this is just a lot of BS-ery and Tim trying to make some vaguely interesting content. And still, it doesn't drum up anywhere near the views that he used to get. Like, something about a stalker? Shoot, back in the day would have easily landed Tim with like 10,000 views or something. You know, that's like when he was kind of starting to go on the tail end. That was like even 6 months ago. Now, he's not breaking those types of numbers. He might get 5 to 6 on a big story like this. I mean, a stalker story. I mean, that's pretty bad when you consider the number of actual subscribers Tim has. All right, Tim, let's hear how Dan supposedly stalked you. Though you stalk people and dox people's house, and Darlene did a great video about that. I'm sure you guys have checked it out already.
And harassment is when you show up unexpectedly, knowing where I'm going to be, and harassing. That's another law. But there's nothing.
Harassment is also when you unnecessarily strike people's channels with no actual real reason to do so. There's another form of harassment, Tim. Did you think about that? Because you do that, sir. Therefore, you harass people.
Against going somewhere that someone's been and said, this is where Sarasota Tim walks. This is where Sarasota Tim works out. This is where Sarasota Tim. And there's actually no law against videoing someone's house in a private neighborhood. I mean, an open residential neighborhood. This is so-and-so's house. It's public information. But in communities, condominiums, RV parks, it's privately owned, private property. You can't just go on there and solicit or look around and video and do things like that without express permission from.
Oh, really, Tim? How is it that you went around all those neighborhoods out in the sort of like that Kings whatever area that was out in, I think it was at Utah or Arizona, one of those neighborhoods anyway, and you went into gated communities and filmed people's very expensive homes and up and down their streets? So you can't have one thing for the goose and the other for the gander. That's BS. I don't know many trailer parks that, you know, it'd have to be real ritzy. And I have a feeling that yours is not that ritzy, Tim. And like I said, they don't know if you're not delivering food. They have no clue.
From the office. So the office told me we were informed, not that not that they saw the videos. A lot of them do watch my videos, but they're busy, doing other things and watching.
Do you really think that anybody in that office is watching Tim's videos? Do you really think that Tim got 6.7 views on the song? See, that's not many for Tim. It's not many because he's broke. Exactly. That's going to be he was hoping he would hit over 10 for that. He went to the HOA neighborhoods all the time. Yeah. He goes and doxes people all the time. Old Tim was go to RV parks and film. He wanted to move into one on the river in Laughlin. Right. Oh, and every time he got into one of these RV parks, he'd film everybody's RVs and and when he was, at least we forget all the times he showed everybody's properties as he's walking around parking lots and showing everybody's license plates, and you have it, you name it. I have a doubt. I believe this story as much as I believe the stress test story, which means I have very little. It's just a narcissist, Tim. It's a narcissist.
Sarasota Tim every video. But a lot of them did say that, yeah, I saw the video. Did you see that video? The guy came around and videoed your place. But 2 or more.
No, I'm calling BS. This conversation never took place. This conversation never took place. This is like Tim finally had somebody, Tim finally, realized that he could make some content from Dan's video about, going to Tim's trailer park or whatever. And finally Tim's like, oh, shoot, I could do a stalker video. But as people pointed out, he suddenly then saw a couple like the following day. Or what about JJ? What about Johnny Vegas, who showed up out of nowhere? He started out as a stalker originally too. But you liked him because he came with golf clubs. Dan, you didn't come bearing enough gifts for Tim. Should have told him you'll come with $1,000.
People in my community contacted where I live, sent an email. What do they call it? It wasn't just an email. Some kind of a warning or document, something that was filed at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, reporting this stalking by this individual. And
so is that what Tim's saying? Is that he had someone in his community? Was it JJ? Was it Angel Mission? I wonder which one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, that's one of Tim's moderators, was the one. What happened to Chris Google Maps? Was it Chris Google Maps? We haven't had Chris Google Maps around in a long time. He's so funny. He loves to talk about fair use. He doesn't know anything. Jerry says Tim needs to hire Angel Mission as a bodyguard. It's got to be somebody in there. Sammy in Brooklyn says, Tim is so full of it. I've seen other narcissistic YouTubers say the same. Oh, yeah. They love a stalking tale. Dan was harmless. And his audience, asking if he wants to go to dinner because they think Dan is not on Tim's side. Nobody's on your side, Tim. Just the 7 people that comment in your comment section.
So we talked about it, and I said, well, I just, knew about the guy. I thought he was kind of harmless. I know he was just trying to better his YouTube channel. A lot of them feed off of me. I got these copycat channels. They call them hater channels.
Well, you're going to find out a thing or two about copyright very soon from somebody, Tim. Just saying. It's not me, because I don't have that expertise. But I know somebody who does.
And he's very impressionable, and he thinks they're going to watch him if he goes and does what they're telling him to do. I mean, even putting his own life and security and his freedom at stake by being arrested, or worse. You go prowling on somebody, picking in somebody's window or knocking on somebody's door. You don't know what you're going to meet. So I'm just telling you, that's just the way it is today. I would be very leery about doing something like that. So anyway, you in the community contacted where I live. They contacted the Manatee Sheriff's Office. Manatee Sheriff's Office emailed me and said, it's been noted, anything about this. And I said,
oh my gosh. So maybe this is a true story Tim, you didn't that this isn't the best title for your videos. I'm not going to tell you how you should have titled it, but it's probably not the one that's going to bring you views.
Yeah, he's making videos, following me around everywhere I've been. They said, well, there's nothing wrong with that. He can do that because, you know, he's not showing up uninvited, you know, harassing you. I mean, you can show up. People show up all the time and say, hey, Sarasota Tim. And I talk to them because I know they're just normal. But someone that's like stalking, the police said that they would definitely reevaluate that.
I don't think that's going to fall into stalking, Tim. Your audience. These people trying to protect this scam artist and con artist and lowlife, in my opinion. Gosh. Well, I guess all 7 of them will be going to the YouTube grave with you, Tim.
That there are plenty of videos that he's putting on himself and the comments that you can read of him being pushed by these people. So it's all been documented now, and I don't think he's going to come back around. If he does, he's going to be met with the sheriff's office, somebody on the property. Everybody got emails to be aware if you, not just for him or anybody, really. They sent an email to everybody saying, we want to make everybody advise it's his private.
So does that mean that Tim has to be, do we have to warn, pardon me, my allergies have got me, guys. So Tim, does that mean that we have to warn all these gated communities that you've illegally entered them? I know he coughs when he lies. He does cough when he lies. I coughed for him. He rubs his hand. I don't know. I almost have a feeling that somebody in his audience potentially did report this. I don't know about the conversation with the people in the office, but I want to have a feel, the exact wording, because Tim's going to, kind of stretch the story out. But I do have a feeling that maybe somebody in his audience did report that poor Dan, because they were, get some water. Yes, thank you. I just finished my water. That's the problem. So yeah, I wonder, where did they get his email? That's my thought also. Where did they get his email? Well, I mean, it just seems weird that the sheriff's office would be sending him an email. Wouldn't they be sending it to the person that reported the incident? So therefore the subscriber that reported it? It wouldn't be, because I know I've had to report certain things, and I would be there for the person receiving that correspondence, not the person who this act was happening. So it kind of makes it seem like there was a double murder in that park, Sharon says, about 1.5 years ago. Well, and when I lived in Mexico, that usually would be an indication that potentially, people would probably hold off on having another one there at any time soon. But I don't know how it is in the States. That sounds so safe. Please sign me up for that neighborhood. Oh, geez. You're back and on patrol. Well, come join us. Bradenton is in Manatee County. Sarasota is in Sarasota County. I noticed he starts saying he lives in Sarasota, the Bradenton area. I think he knows we caught him online. Yeah, he doesn't live in the best neighborhood. That's why we hear the sirens at night. So it does seem weird now that I'm thinking about that detail with because Tim gives too many details, and that's part of this confabulation. But the fact that that just seems odd. Why would the sheriff's office be emailing Tim? Where would they get your email address from, Tim? Put the person who made the report say, oh no, but make sure you email this guy? It doesn't sound like it sounds. That doesn't sound right. Let me go back on that part.
Everybody got emails to be aware if you, not just for him or anybody, really. They sent an email to everybody saying, we want to make everybody advise it's his private property. If you have guests, make sure that they go directly to your place.
Really? Everyone gets an email. Okay.
And that, you know, you are there when they come visit you, and that, you know, this is for the security of everybody, and that
in a park that had a double murder 1.5 years ago, we constantly hear sirens going off during your fireside chat, and that New York Dan literally said he felt sketched out going around. This man came from New York.
It's been noted that, you know, there have been people that were trespassing, that, you know, we don't want anybody's property to be stolen, or people casing out the joint. That's what it's all about. They don't want people just riding around and looking for someone, or saying they're looking for somebody, or just whatever they want to do. Just come in and take a look and see what they might come back for later. So if the shoe fits, get another one the same size. But they don't want it. But no.
They do have sheriffs. If sheriffs do different things in different states or different cities, for example, here in Virginia, sheriffs do like stuff with the jails, but they don't do anything around like arresting people. So it's, you know, our sheriffs in Virginia are jails, but sheriffs are something different, obviously in Florida. It's all different in different states.
Don't come by uninvited. Don't do that. Even if you mean well, and I know all of you do. I've never had anybody that's came by when I lived in Boynton that I was ever worried about. They were just wanting to say hello to me, because I publicly made known where I lived. And like I said earlier, a lot of people came there. But if you see...
So, like I said, I don't know if I believe this story. That thing about getting the email from the sheriff's office has now made me think that Tim is now making up a story. I wonder if somebody in his audience said, oh, you should report him for stalking. I'm sure somebody said that, or report him. And so Tim has now, you know, it just is so weird. It doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. That's a great pause story. Keep going, Tim.
See me, Walmart, gym, anywhere out, and you recognize me, of course, let's make a video. You know, I'll say hello to you. Of course, I'm like that. But you can't just come by and knock on my door. So I have to retract that invitation due to the fact that I don't want to break rules that have been enforced regarding private property. I'm having a hard time believing it. I've never seen the sheriff's office driving through where I live. But now I've seen not once, but 2 or 3 times a marked sheriff car.
There's probably something else going on. Maybe they know you have so many weapons of pew pews in your trailer, Tim. We hear sirens all the time. There was a double murder there a year and a half ago. I have a feeling that place is regularly patrolled by police, probably looking for people doing other sort of nefarious acts, probably around substances that are not controlled.
Are literally driving through the section I live. So they've taken it very serious in the office. The people.
Oh yes, they've taken it very serious in that office where they had double murder a year and a half ago. I'm so glad you gave us that wonderful detail, Sharon. That just makes it even better. That's why I love this audience. David said, surprised he's not cleaning his pew saying this. Well, that really would send a strong message to New York Dan. Linda says, I lived in Orange County in Orlando, Florida. We have the sheriff department, but in the city of Orlando has the police department. Yeah, and also here, sheriffs can carry out evictions for landlords and stuff here. And they would do that. Sheriffs would do that sort of stuff. But the police officers would, they all do different stuff. In Virginia, most incorporated towns and cities have their own police departments. That's correct. Other parts of the counties have the sheriff's department as law enforcement. As law enforcement. That is correct too. That's why I said it depends. It's like to the cities and towns. It's very. See, Catherine, what a conversation you've started now. And I'll tell you one thing we know. Sarasota Tim likes to pretend to be a law enforcement officer because he has the concealed carry like little badge he likes to wear or whatever, open carry or whatever, whichever way it goes.
That I got the emails from that I haven't responded to you, telling me about this stalker, that I didn't respond to you. But you also told me that not only did you contact where I live, but you contacted the Manatee County Sheriff's Office.
So somebody, I don't even know at this point. I don't believe the sheriff emailed him, though. That would be weird. Potentially, did one of his people make a report to the sheriff's office? That's possible. Did it go all the way over to the office of his RV park? Probably not. They wouldn't care. Don't think this is like high up on the list and would involve this many people. Because Dan rolled through with a rental car. They probably couldn't describe the vehicle. He sees real people living life around him, and he thinks it's about being a famous YouTuber. Yeah, he thinks he's a famous YouTuber. Absolutely. Do they wear chaps and spurs? Not in this area, but I can't say they don't do that in Texas. They probably have different uniforms. Every town different. All I can say is one of our local police departments, when they had the that lip sync challenge with all the different police departments, I believe ours in Norfolk, Virginia was the one that won the national for the video of the lip sync challenge. They did one to the Bruno Mars song, and that thing was hopping and popping. And so they won that. They did a good job. Out there doing the hard work of solving crimes in the city of Norfolk. But they did a very good one. So if you ever want to watch a really funny video, check out the Norfolk police doing Don't Believe Me, it just whatever that Bruno Mars song is. It's very good. All right, take it away.
You filed a report. So I want to say thank you very much to the community that prays for me, that cares about my health. You give me tips and tricks, and certainly that you care about my security. And I would do the same for you. And some of you are a little over concerned because I do believe this individual was just being motivated and pushed by the people on the other side of the fence that were trying to encourage him to go beyond.
I do not believe anybody tried to encourage Dan to do any of it. I think Dan was doing it through his own initiative. I don't remember anybody saying to do it. It doesn't need that. And if he wants to go around and do Sarasota style Tim's or whatever, take it as like a form of flattery, Tim. I mean, for goodness sake. I know you're desperate for content, but gosh, you sound like a griper.
On where he needs to go, jeopardizing his own freedom of being incarcerated, or worse, like I say, meeting up with the wrong person. So
I know. Where is Cowboy Tim, Gen X, when we need him? Where is it when we need it? When he needs it most? He needs to be Cowboy Tim at this point. He certainly shows it in that very interesting opening to the Sarasota Tim video, which seems to show very little of Sarasota and a lot of other stuff, which I would find very confusing. Since Sarasota is like a beach town, and he out in the middle of, Utah, whatever, Arizona, wherever he's at, with a cowboy hat on.
I just know that it's been handled. I don't think that he's going to come back around, and I wish him the luck on his channel. He kept claiming that he wanted to do an interview, but of course I knew from the very beginning, and everybody in my community.
Well, see, this is the problem. It's because Dan might just want to actually sit down and have a conversation with Tim. And Tim needs adulation and people fawning over him. And Tim's got to figure out how he can exploit people. And potentially he couldn't see where he could exploit Dan. So that's not going to be for Tim. See, JJ has been somebody who's been able to support Tim in his actions. I think JJ has been one of the people, the largest person behind Tim and his copyright strikes recently. Keep going, Tim.
Community knew it was for one reason and one reason only, and that was to give material to the trolls and the haters, that something he could take some soundbite or do something and make a video.
No, I think, Tim, you just don't like to be exposed that for whatever reason, the place that, all he had to do was decline. Yeah, he did. I think he doesn't like the fact that we could also see really the high-end trailer park that you're having to find yourself living in now, because you're probably not making as much money. It's probably not cheap getting a spot in Florida, especially in the areas that you're wanting to live in. So, because remember when he first came into town, he was staying at, different RV parks, but as his money dries up, his lifestyle is having to downgrade. He can't sell that CC Rider. He's stuck with that car. Who knows where Tammy is at the moment? I'm sure he's still staying over at Tammy's house.
And turn it all around and give them videos to make that they could copy, because they get copyright stricken by my video, so they don't do it anymore. But if they take his...
Really? See, that's not the case, Tim, actually. And you're going to be finding out a thing or two about fair use. And so you're about to eat your strikes, Tim. And then you're going to eat it a little bit further. Because you are the one who asked for the legal consequences. And now you're about to have them. Well, actually, you've already been served them, sir. And you're going to be served more. So that's my big news. Keep going, Ted, and then I'll tell you guys the news and we'll finish this out.
And then, I'm in there and whatever. It was all a big game and a setup, a big hit job, as Trump calls it, to get some material to help them. It wasn't an individual.
Oh my gosh. Here we have him equating himself to somebody who's obviously a lot more famous than Sarasota Tim. Tim, you need to find somebody else to compare yourself to, because it's not the same.
Well, like every other person that's ever met me or came over to Boynton Beach that just wanted to say hello, have a cup of coffee, and shake my hand. So just to repeat, please do not come by, even though they've exposed.
I know. What happened to those realtors you were hanging about with in the summertime who were going to help you find a house and was sending you buy me a coffees and stuff?
Where I live or how to get there or whatever, that the complex is aware. They won't tolerate it. The neighbors have been emailed to report.
Complex don't care. There was a double murder there a year and a half ago, Tim. They got bigger fish to fry in that place.
People that don't look like they need to be there, or they get out and they're looking around anybody's place and my place, and don't come knocking on my door if I didn't invite you to come by. That's the only thing I can tell you. And that's only because of the rules there. I ain't worried. I know how to protect myself.
They don't care. All guests are allowed on any property. He's so full of it. Billionaire. Yeah, I know. Tim, leader of the free world. Shake his hand. I know. Whoa. Especially if we know he goes on like this all the time. Yes, Tim wants to go full circle with the pickup trucks. He's already had a Tundra. Now he wants it back. Oh, and he was talking about wanting some other car. Whatever, Tim. You have very poor money management skills. And that's why you need to beg for your subscribers to hit those Amazon links. Hit the Amazon links, please, people. Keep going, Tim.
But we all have rules and respect other people's privacy. When somebody comes by and they see my neighbor over there, like, hey, I like that bike you got there, whatever. I'm just saying. They don't want it. It ain't me. It's them. They don't want it. I personally don't want it either. See you out here in the public. We love you. And thank you very much for watching. But this person has really incriminated themselves. If they ever came around again, they were driving a rental car.
You incriminate yourself when you lodge false copyright strikes against people, Tim. And now you're going to get investigated by YouTube. Keep going.
And he's made all these videos of going around to other people's residents everywhere I go. And he's proven without a shadow of a doubt that he's
other people. Oh, because he went by and spoke to Ted and Jolene. So that's going to be peeing Tim off. Because Ted and Jolene didn't seem to have a problem. They actually spoke to him and gave him heads up that, they're kind of glad that you're gone, Tim, because you're just trouble, really. And I do believe he did speak to them. And I'm sure that they felt that he was homeless. And Tim, you love telling everyone what a big YouTuber is. So you're a pick and choose. as to who you want around, and you think that anyone's trying to get some notoriety off of your coattails. Whatever, Tim. This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun over the next couple of whatevers. Keep going, Tim.
Stalking, and he's being motivated because he's easily impressionable by people that are watching him, and that's what he wants. He wants to be a YouTuber. He wants to make money. He wants to become famous.
I think Dan is already fairly well set since he always gets to enjoy mini cruises and seems to enjoy his life. So I don't think it's about that. I think he was just having fun. And you're taking it like beyond what it is, Tim. Should be flattered. He didn't do any harm. He actually be more petrified of you than the other way around, Tim. It's because the angel mission or somebody caring about this old con artist, in my opinion.
I don't know, but he needs to realize that he's got to get some new material of his own and not go creeping around other people's property, or he's going to be met with legal things, or even worse, man. I mean, you go to the wrong person's house and step on their property, they got every right. You know, this is Florida, baby. Crush it.
No. Yeah, we get rid of that. All right, guys, let me make me big real fast. Yes, it's probably very expensive, I'm sure. And $1,700 a month at Tim's Social Security, and the way he likes to buy all his like food and stuff and go shopping, he's gonna need to be definitely getting more AdSense and affiliate links and so on and so forth. So Tim wanted to talk a little bit about copyright strikes there, which is a very interesting topic, because today Tim did receive from my attorney's firm my counter notification to the copyright strike that he sent to me on February the 10th. Now, I'm not going to obviously say what was in the content of this copyright notification that was sent by my attorneys to the proper channels at YouTube, so that my personal details were not included. And it was also forwarded to Tim at the address, the email address that he used when he sent the copyright strike. I know everyone wants to say that's not Tim. Anybody can send him. It's Tim's email address. It's very much Mr. Baker's email. And so he is actually now being schooled around copyright, and he will be told. I'm going to save a lot of this for. Hey, Sandy, come on in. Yeah, he is the creep. He just threatened Dan. Sounds like it. But he has been sent a pretty strong counter notice from my attorney firm. So it's a firm of attorneys, a very well-known one here in Virginia, and it explains my use of his material under fair use, and it also asks for YouTube to investigate his problematic behavior around his persistent striking of channels. And so I am also having, and like I said, I don't want to go to a great deal of details, because obviously we're still waiting for YouTube to kind of come in, and Tim has to have his time to give in his response. But obviously asking for them to put some actions towards his channel, and whether it's a strike or other actions. And there's still other things that's going to be happening, and he's still going to be getting more stuff from attorneys. This is just one thing that he's getting, was this particular one. Oh, and it's strong. And like I said, I need to find out exactly from my attorneys how much of this I can share publicly, because obviously we're in the midst of this now. And so if Tim checked his yahoo.com email address, which was the one that he had, the Harley Davidson, that's the one that was submitted for his copyright removal request. That's the one that my attorney sent it to. And it very clearly talks about my content, how I use things. I mean, it's but Tim is going to have to actually literally ask somebody to help him understand that letter. Yes. So thank you. Thank you. So thank you to all of you who have supported the channel, who have sent me money, who have, wanted to see some actions. And like I said, because it was just sent to YouTube today, that gets sent to their copyright department, and now it's under review, and then they have to obviously ensure it's correct legal action. Obviously it was sent by attorneys, so I don't think they're going to have any issue that it did not follow the correct legal protocols, and then they would forward it on to Tim. But Tim was sent it already by my attorney's office. So Tim has received, as of today, at around 1, I'll tell you what time he got it at it was 1, a little bit after 1 in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. Tim was CC'd on the email that was sent to YouTube copyright. So I will be interested, since he likes to talk about so many things in his videos and likes to talk to so many things, that he has content, and we know he's checking his emails because of the fact that the sheriff's office has been contacting him through his emails. So we know he follows his emails. So he got this email today. And like I said, I made sure it was before April the 1st. So he understands this is not an April Fool's joke. And it's a very strong one. And it basically starts out with, "This firm represents," and then states my name, and on intellectual property and any other legal matters. So with Tim and all his big ass talk around his copyright, thank you for the super sticker, David. Thank you for the super. So I am going to save the meat of this. I have to, like I said, I kind of have to wait for it to be probably through the process, because we're in the middle of this legal incident at the moment. So obviously I have to respect that my attorneys, that's very generous of you, David, by the way, are, handling this. But I ensured this time that I was not the one submitting my personal details. This was sent through the attorney's firm and was all encrypted. And like I said, Mr. Baker was CC'd on it. So if he's checked his emails, he's got this email. And he had one heck of a day, because supposedly he locked himself out of his Flagstaff, and he complained that YouTube was not uploading his videos well, and all sorts of stuff. And so, but all of you who are members, sending me super chats, super thanks, all of this stuff, have sent me money, have sent me buy me a coffees. This is all going forward. And there's still more actions to come. This is just the first one that he's getting. Because he opened up a hornet's nest. And he keeps wanting to talk about hater channels and copyright. And I can promise you, my attorney is very clear as to why I create content with Sarasota Tim's, me highlighting him and how he delivers problematic content around health and wellness specifically, and how I don't just make content on Tim, I make content around other creators too. And it's an attorney's letter, and it's, like I said, and this is why I want to make sure I get through everything and clear up everything with my attorneys before I, really talk about the meat of what's in here. But it's pretty much highlighting also to YouTube, as I said, a lot of his behaviors that he has around striking channels and getting them to review his content. And as I said, it's not just that's not the first correspondence he will be receiving from these attorneys, everybody. It is not the first correspondence. Thank you for the applause. And Lori is smiling. Yeah, he did mess with the wrong girl. Yes, he did. he absolutely messed with the wrong person. Absolutely. And no, I'm not a flip-flopper. No, I am not a flip-flopper. It's a buy me a lawyer coming. Yes, I'm like I said, unfortunately, I have to wait, and we're going to have to wait probably for some time. So I'm probably going to have to redact stuff out and figure out what I can and cannot share. As far as any of that's concerned, just because it's legal stuff. But I know it seems like you love that. I know a lot of the ladies love it because Tim is really, he's like lying to his audience, literally trying and begging for money and calling people like me haters because I don't like the fact that he is giving so much misinformation, that he gives bad advice around Social Security, that he manipulates vulnerable elderly people. And then because I call criticism on that, and then the conversations around doctors and them being the third leading cause of death, and just all this misinformation around health is, to me, very problematic. And Tim never disclaimers anything. He gets out there and purports like he's an expert because you're some old dude talking does not make you an expert, Tim. Having received a letter from Social Security about receiving your benefits didn't suddenly make you a Social Security effort. None of these things give you expertise. And you don't like preface any of your content to say, I'm just like, this is just my thoughts and opinions. I say these are my thoughts and opinions, Tim. And I have far more expertise than you have in certain subject matters. I promise you. And I don't have the audacity that you do. And then you're still hashtagging Social Security. You're still hashtagging retirement. And you're literally trying to still drag people into your garbage content. And you're still trying to get to 100K. Oh, it makes me tired. He's insulting others' intelligence. Absolutely. And I've reached, and I understand it's, interesting to watch people's content, but then he's trying to turn Dan into like an evil stalker, and I mean, part of that story has some potential truth in it. Like, I'm sure Angel Mission reported somebody, or his audience did get concerned or emailed him and gave him heads up that they reported Dan for stuff. How is that any different from Johnny Vegas trying to hook up with him a million times and he wouldn't do it until the man gave him a set of golf carts? It's because Johnny didn't make any material initially. Dan's never really said hundreds of anything specifically negative around Tim. Certainly not me. It's not like I'm down there trying to meet him. Hell, though, that would never happen. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying anyway. Anyway. So, yes. And I mean, this thing is this attorney's letter. I like I said, I'm going to find out how much I can share, and I'm going to tell a little bit more into one of my members only videos. Because it's very good. So I'm curious, like I said, to see if Mr. Baker's mood changes, knowing that he's getting this type of letter, and about the fact that it talks about some of his more problematic behaviors. And now, somebody in YouTube's copyright department is going to have to read this attorney's letter, because it's not going to just go AI. Now, like, a human being is going to have to set eyes. And this, like I said, is not the only thing that is being levied against Mr. Baker at this time. He will be getting other things as well, because I am going to protect my community. I am going to protect my channel. We are going to continue to call out people who are problematic around health information. I still need to circle back around to Foodie Beauty and talk about some of her problematic stuff. And maybe even Amber Lim talking about her borderline personality disorder and her complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is not actually a diagnosis in the DSM-5 with text revision, and it won't be in the future. So I'm very curious to know how she received a diagnosis that is used in, like, I think it goes into the ICD-10, but literally you couldn't diagnose a patient with that disorder. You wouldn't get like any, like, as far as like billable for anything on that code. There's no code. You can't diagnose a patient with it. There's no diagnosis of that. It doesn't exist in the my diagnostic statistical manual. It does not exist. So that's an interesting one. So it calls into question some of Amberlynn and her stories, because they all have stories. Gosh, we've got to be very cautious, everybody. And like I said, Tim and his consistent need to want to strike channels after he gets this. I wonder how trigger happy he is going to feel on his copyright removals going forward. For me or Buckeye Gordon or any other channel that want to use some snippets of his content in order to provide commentary and criticism. Anyway, hello, Tree, cool name. Yeah, is there somebody? Tree, hey Tree, it just got. Oh, hey Tree, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you just got here because I'm just winding this party up. I am so sorry. Did Tim try to report Carr to the bar? I don't know. But I promise you, I think that Tim needs to find himself an attorney moving forward. Because if Kim is going to keep talking about stalkers or talk about this legal action or that legal action or striking at the haters and getting copyright removals and acting like the big boy on the block, Tim, well, get yourself a big boy attorney. Why don't you go get yourself an attorney or a firm like I did? Like one of the biggest firms in Virginia. Why don't you go do that? Thanks to the generosity of this community. Without you guys, I couldn't have done it. Okay, so I have to thank everybody here in this audience. You are the reason why this action is taking place. And that you are the reason why I'm able to continue doing further actions. And hopefully it's not about, and see, this is where I call Tim's bluff. See, Tim, I would have your channel taken away and lose my chance to make my huge monetization, since I obviously use money that I receive to pay for attorneys to make sure that you understand legitimately what fair use is. So maybe you need to follow up with Chris Google Maps, and maybe he can pay for your attorney that you're going to need to get. Because you can't just keep saying you've got stuff copyrighted, Tim, and you don't have it copyrighted. And keep doing this sort of stuff. Because now you've already unleashed. There's going to be another, like I said, there's more coming to him. So that was the first thing. That's just the counter notification. And it's strongly worded. It's not like the stuff I did where I just copied and pasted my fair use statement into YouTube and sent that along. No, this is a very strongly worded, and it's not even as strong as it's going to get. And there's still other things that we're looking at. And it's not about, people had this misconception that I'm after Tim's money. No. There's types of lawsuits when you go into those types of claims and stuff. That's just, the only people get rich off of that are the attorneys. There's nothing about that, about me trying to get compensation. No, that's not what I care about. It's not even, that's, what's the point of that? No, there's other things that are much more effective. And so I am curious to know if Tim is going to tell his audience that he heard from an attorney today. Let's see if he shows that one up in his content. Let's see if he actually tells some truths. So, yes, keep your cards close to your chest. He is a narcissist. Oh, yeah, I'm not telling him. Yeah, Judy, I'm not saying what the next steps are going to be. But there are more. Broke Dick Tim. Yeah. Oh, yes. PBT says he's got too much free time stirring up trouble and no emotional intelligence. He's an oddball. Well, now he's got some free time to find an attorney. RH wasn't the Dewey, Cheatham, and Howie. I guess I caught that in the middle of a conversation. He's got plenty of money and he's rich because he said that in the Walmart video. Lovesky says Tim's a common will be held accountable. Absolutely. Ray, maybe you can make a deal on Tim's truck. I don't need Tim's truck. I'm not after Tim's money. Tim needs to return that money to the American taxpayer. That's what I would like him to do. Or actually do some real charitable works. You know, like, why don't you actually give out, like, why don't you use those dang cars and trucks of yours and do some, like, Meals on Wheels deliveries and actually, like, take meals to, like, some elderly people that would enjoy some company and probably would enjoy listening to your stories, Tim, instead of what you do at that McDonald's. But the difference is you couldn't try to get your subscribers to send you buy me a coffees with your paying it forward nonsense. If you were actually doing something like a Meals on Wheels and actually helping the community and helping with older people that would enjoy having not only a meal delivered, since you have 2 effing vehicles paid for by the American taxpayers, and would probably listen to your stupid stories all day. You can make up stories all day long. They would feed into your narcissism better than anything in the world. But then again, I wouldn't want you around elderly people doing Meals on Wheels because I'd be scared that you would mock them to try to see how you could get money out of them. Because I wouldn't trust you. I don't trust you around elderly people. I know. ST did today his yes, we looked over that video, Sandy. We played that video earlier. We highlighted a number of different videos today. We did we had all sorts of fun stuff today. So anyway, guys, I've taken up a lot of your time today, and I don't want to be selfish like Tim, but I did want to make sure I thanked everybody who has been so generous and watching the channel and just, subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, doing all the things. The channel's slow to grow, but we are still growing. We get great views, ratios and stuff. And so I'm just going to keep on continuing. Obviously, part of what I'm asking with these attorneys is to kind of get YouTube to potentially look at my algorithm and the damages that could have happened to my channel because of Tim's actions. And so, yeah, like I said, I'm going to do talk a little bit more on the members only just to keep it on the DL a little bit. And I'm going to wait probably until I know that kind of YouTube has sent officially to Tim and we're kind of moving along. Just because I don't want to mess up anything along with this legal process. Though there isn't really anything other than Tim gets the letter. Tim is not going to do anything because he has a certain amount of time, I think 8 to 10 business days or something like that, where he has to show that he has taken or has started to take legal action against me for copyright. So he has to come back with that. And we know he's not even going to do that. So that copy, this potentially is going to stop him from all those shenanigans. So if Buckeye Gold and whoever wants to use his material, they're going to feel comfortable in doing so because Tim has now understood it's under fair use and he cannot be striking at people's channels and calling it copycat and this, that, and the other because it falls under that. So good luck, Tim. And yeah, it's funny, Chris. I hope, ha ha ha. It just helps on other stuff, Chris, and all that stuff. Don't worry. And if anybody wants to send me, even in these comments under this video, if anybody can remember any of the videos that are linked, just name the video. You can just type the name of the video where Tim is asking his subscribers to strike against our channels. Because I know I maybe did a video, but I'm trying to collect all of that information together at this time where he's literally so I'm trying to get that all together because he's not allowed to do that. And I know people always want to say, oh, it's just fun. It's just YouTube. Exactly. It's just fun. It's just YouTube. And Tim is abusing the platform because he thinks it's just his playground for him to make money. And for anyone to call him out or to call him or make criticism around his narcissism and his bullying and his narcissistic bullying, he gets real angry. And you picked on the wrong person here, Tim. You really did pick on the wrong person here. Because I think you forgot how highly educated I am. And that I have an absolutely amazing community who stands behind me. So my community is just as, if not better than your community, Tim. I promise you. All right, guys. I really do appreciate it. I bet Darling has a way of finding that out. Finding a lot of stuff out. They do a good job. And like I said, let's see that end of this poll. So we're ending the poll. So it says Tim being truthful about having a stress test on April the 2nd. 85% no. 14% still think Tim is being truthful, despite the fact he originally said it was on April the 8th. And despite the fact he has the same test on the same day as his friend Fred. Despite all those coincidences, people are still giving Tim that benefit of the doubt. Well, we know he's going to lie about it. But we do have a way to know if he has really gone. Because we're going to see how much time he spends there. All right, guys. If you are a member, make sure you drop some stethoscopes and some computers and whatever emojis in the chat just to finish us out. I did want to say thank you so much to Flat Pat for her very generous super thanks here. Super chat, I should say. And she also gave another generous $9.99 super chat. I appreciate that. And to David, thank you so much for your super sticker and for being a member. All three of you, or two of you, sorry. And for all of the members here in the chat, don't forget, if you do want to support this community and really trying to ensure that people who are not giving good advice at least can preface their material ahead of time saying, not an expert, shouldn't even be giving you this advice. It's just me talking. Because that's what Tim needs to say. He needs to get rid of hashtag Social Security. Because he is not an expert on that. Anything but an expert. Thank you guys for all of the emojis. I really appreciate that. Thank you to Catherine and Angel of Glass, our moderators, for watching everybody. But I know we didn't get really a lot of trolls in here tonight, so that's good. All right, guys. Hope you all have a great week. Like I said, if you are a member of this community, you'll be finding out more. As much as I can tell about the letter, the counter notification that was sent to Sarasota Tim from the attorney's firm today on my behalf. So, yes, thank you all for that. It has been sent. So, Tim is having to read legal stuff. So, we'll see, like I said, whether or not he lets his subscribers know that one of the haters sent him an attorney's letter telling him, stop messing with my content. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good night, Sharon. Have a good night. Peace out. I appreciate you all. Thank you, guys.